After another argument because she stayed out all night again, I decided to break up this time. But perhaps she still thought I would be the one to lower myself and make amends as I had so many times before, until another woman appeared by my side. Only then did she realize in shock, her eyes welling up as she clung to me, begging for a return and saying she regretted it. But it was all too late. How many times do I have to explain it to you? Su Hao is my good brother. We grew up together since we were kids. Now he's even my investment partner. What's wrong with having a few drinks together? Lu Ruyan spoke with a voice full of impatience, her eyes still clouded with a hint of alcohol. Can't you be less suspicious and stop overthinking? If anything were going to happen between us, it would have happened 800 years ago. It's not your turn to worry. Sitting on the sofa, my face was somber. I had waited for her all night without closing my eyes. How many times had Lu Ruyan not come home overnight? I couldn't even remember anymore. Was it just having a few drinks? I opened my phone, pulled up a photo I had saved earlier, and threw it straight in front of her. The photo had been sent to me by Su Hao in the middle of the night. On a messy bed, Lu Ruyan was curled up leaning against Su Hao, their posture full of ambiguity. Besides that photo, he had also sent a message, "As long as I want it, she will be mine," and then quickly unsent it, but my phone had already captured it. Right, the two of you are good siblings. Close enough to sleep in the same hotel bed after drinking, I suppose. Lu Ruyan picked up the phone. The moment she saw the photo, her expression immediately changed. It seemed Su Hao hadn't lied, and this photo wasn't a fabrication. Last night, she really had gone into a hotel with him. I tried to suppress the pain in my heart, my eyes full of disappointment. You're still denying it even at this point? You still dare to say there's nothing between you two? Seeing the disappointment on my face, Lu Ruyan finally stopped her annoyed expression. She sat down next to me, took my hand and spoke softly. I was too drunk to remember anything. Su Hao didn't know my address, so he took me to a hotel. He was afraid something would happen to me, so he took care of me all night. There really is nothing between us. Look at the photo, my clothes are still intact. I cut off her incredibly superficial explanation. You were drunk but didn't want me to pick you up, and instead let another man take you to a hotel. Does that sound logical? Lu Ruyan's beautiful face turned cold again. She spoke in a detached voice, going back and forth. It turns out you still suspect me. If you don't trust me, then getting married has no meaning anymore. Just as she finished, Lu Ruyan suddenly paused, her face showing a hint of confusion. Then she bit her lip and spoke softly as if trying to reassure, I didn't mean that. Fine. I looked at her calmly. Let's not get married then. She was silent for a few seconds, then let out a sarcastic laugh as I often saw. Are you serious? You won't regret it. It was clear Lu Ruyan didn't believe I was being serious. Perhaps because we had broken up and made up many times before, she took this lightly. I looked straight into her eyes and spoke firmly once more. Yes, no marriage. Let's break up. This wasn't the first time Lu Ruyan had used not getting married to threaten me. Since 2 years ago, when her best friend Su Hao returned to the country and invested in her company, the marriage plans we once discussed had been constantly delayed. We had argued countless times about this, and the words break up weren't appearing for the first time. But this time, I had truly decided. However, Lu Ruyan still didn't think so. She gave a cold, faint smile. Fine, if we break up, we break up. So what are you still doing here? I stood up, went into the bedroom, and pulled out a suitcase. This was what I had prepared last night after seeing the photos Su Hao sent. When Lu Ruyan saw me pulling the suitcase, her face became even more unpleasant. Stopping the suitcase in front of her, I looked at Lu Ruyan's exhausted face from the alcohol and sighed softly. Your stomach isn't good, remember to drink less in the future. I've left a pack of hangover medicine in the kitchen cabinet. Remember to use it when needed. The nutritional supplements you usually take, I've prepared enough of those too. Lu Ruyan interrupted me with a cold laugh. We've already broken up, why keep up this act of caring? She angrily rushed to the door, swung it open forcefully, and strained her voice. I don't want to see you anymore. Get out. I took a deep breath, pulled the suitcase past her, and said gently, Lu Ruyan, goodbye." The door slammed shut behind me, the loud bang enough to show how angry she was. As I walked to the gate of the apartment complex, I unexpectedly ran into Su Hao. There was no doubt, he was the one who had brought Lu Ruyan back. Su Hao was sitting in a Maybach. Seeing me pulling a suitcase out, he stepped out of the car and blocked my path, his eyes flashing with smugness. "Oh, isn't this Gu Chainan? Finally got kicked out of the house by Ruyan, huh?" I gave him a cold glare, not even bothering to respond. But Su Hao intentionally blocked the way to prevent me from leaving, speaking with contempt. "I knew this would happen. You should have known your place. A man like you, living off a woman, doesn't deserve her at all." I stopped walking and smiled faintly. "Right, I don't deserve her. You and she are truly a match made in heaven. I wish you two happiness together, a harmony for 100 years. After saying that, I pushed him aside forcefully and waved for a taxi. From the rearview mirror, I saw Su Hao looking indignantly in the direction I was going before immediately turning to run into the apartment. I laughed at myself mockingly. What a truly touching childhood sweetheart romance. I feared Su Hao had been waiting here for a long time, ready to appear as the hero to comfort her when Lu Ruyan and I fought. Now that the two of them were in harmony, it only made me, the soon-to-be fiancé, look like a petty and unreasonable person. But who would have thought that in the past, Lu Ruyan always looked at me with affectionate eyes and never showed annoyance like she does now. Lu Ruyan and I met during our university days in the drama club. Back then, she was the central character playing the princess, while I was just a tree for the princess to lean on. If it hadn't been for the time she accidentally tripped on stage and I caught her from below, suffering a hand injury, perhaps I would never have had any connection with a wealthy lady like her in my entire life. During the time I was hospitalized for my injury, Lu Ruyan visited frequently. From then on, we gradually got together. Back then, she was still a girl who liked to act spoiled, graceful, with a bit of the stubbornness of a rich lady. No one could have associated her with the image of a cold, decisive CEO she is now. When did she change? Perhaps it was during our final year of university, when Lu Ruyan's father suddenly appeared with an illegitimate child. This was the first time in Lu Ruyan's life she experienced a sense of failure. She suddenly realized that just because she was a girl, in her father's eyes, she wasn't worthy to inherit. Lu Ruyan felt the danger of losing everything and was determined not to let that half-brother take her father's love and the family fortune. However, at the party, that illegitimate son was introduced publicly to business partners by her father, while she was just sent to a group of women to chat about trivial gossip. That night, wearing a magnificent dress, she sought me out at my dormitory, hugging me tightly like a drowning person grabbing a post, sobbing in my arms. Her hot tears soaked through my shirt, leaving an unforgettable mark deep in my heart. That night she swore, "I won't let that illegitimate child take everything from me. I will show my father that a daughter can also make a career." From then on, Lu Ruyan gave up the indulgent lifestyle of a socialite and began her path as an entrepreneur. Starting a business was truly not easy, especially since Lu Ruyan had originally studied music. After many failures, she realized that the title of a socialite who once played the cello in a luxurious hall didn't help the company move forward at all. Her father had scolded her, calling her actions foolish, and arranged a meeting with a high-status young master for an arranged marriage. Lu Ruyan had to resort to drastic measures, even threatening her own life, to seize one last chance at her startup. When she began her business journey, she wasn't just fighting for pride, but for freedom, to have the right to choose to be with me without family pressure. It cannot be denied that at that time, Lu Ruyan loved me very much. For the sake of our future, she poured all her energy into breaking free from her father's restraint, creating a small space for our love to exist. Consequently, I devoted myself entirely to helping her build the career. Sometimes, I don't understand how things between Lu Ruyan and me became like this. Clearly, our goals were the same. Both of us were striving for a stable future for the other, yet our relationship gradually fell apart. In our 7th year together, Su Hao returned to the country and frequently sent me suggestive messages. Initially, I felt angry and jealous, but after several arguments with Lu Ruyan where I saw her indifferent gaze and heard her say I was only good at making a mountain out of a molehill, every emotion within me seemed to be extinguished. It wasn't Su Hao's appearance that made me feel uneasy, It was Lu Ruyan's attitude. She no longer made me feel loved. Her cold demeanor didn't just appear today. Su Hao's presence only served to lift the curtain hiding the inherent problems in our relationship. Sitting in the taxi, I watched the scenery blur past the window and suddenly felt a sense of relief. People often say that when a relationship reaches 7 years, it easily falls into a stage of exhaustion and boredom. Perhaps the feelings between Lu Ruyan and me had simply reached their limit. The very day I left Lu Ruyan, I submitted my resignation. In truth, it was merely a formality, as I had long been pushed out of the very company we built together. When the HR manager, Wen Ying, received my resignation letter, she immediately called with a surprised voice. "Director Gu, have you informed CEO Lu about this?" Her voice was full of skepticism, as if she thought my resignation was just a joke. It was understandable, as Wen Ying was Lu Ruyan's university classmate and had always viewed me as a gold digger. Over the years, she had frequently reminded Lu Ruyan to be careful with me. I first learned about this during the 3rd year after the company was founded. That year, we had just secured a significant investment, and to celebrate, Lu Ruyan excitedly hosted a year-end party. After drinking countless glasses of wine on her behalf, I slipped away to the lounge to recover. When Lu Ruyan entered the room to touch up her makeup, Wen Ying followed. They didn't know I was sitting on a nearby sofa, half awake and half dreaming, overhearing their conversation. "CEO Lu, you have to be careful with Director Gu," Wen Ying said. "Now the employees only follow his orders and don't respect you at all." Lu Ruyan replied nonchalantly, "Gu Chainan is one of the founders of the company. Isn't it good that the employees follow him?" Wen Ying continued her persuasion. "CEO Lu, he may be a co-founder, but you are still the biggest owner of this company." Lu Ruyan smiled and told Wen Ying not to worry. Anyone in this world could betray me, but Gu Chainan never would. At that moment, I was truly moved. But I didn't expect that just 2 years later, my power in the company would be gradually usurped, and I would be pushed into the background. Wen Ying's voice over the phone pulled me back to the present. "Just proceed with the resignation process. Lu Ruyan and I have broken up." The other end of the line went silent for a long time before Wen Ying finally probed. "Director Gu, you aren't joking, are you? You two are engaged. I'm still waiting to eat wedding candy." I laughed coldly. "Wen Ying, isn't this what you've wanted to happen for a long time? From now on, you can pair Su Hao and Lu Ruyan together without having to hide it anymore." Shortly after I hung up, I received a series of messages from Lu Ruyan, reproaching me for throwing a tantrum and reminding me that if I resigned voluntarily, I wouldn't receive any compensation from the company. "What are you thinking? Don't be so childish. If you leave on your own, you won't get a single penny from the company." I only replied with one sentence, "I don't care." This answer immediately silenced her. Not long after, I officially received my termination notice. As soon as I got the papers, I immediately joined Lin Technology. After passing my probation period, my department organized a formal welcome party. Interestingly, they booked a table at the restaurant I had invited Lu Ruyan to many times, the one where she always promised to go but cancelled at the last minute. And even more interesting, as I walked in, I happened to see Lu Ruyan sitting in a private room with a group of friends. She looked noticeably thinner. Sitting with her were very familiar friends, with Su Hao being the only man in the group. "Ruyan, have you really broken up with Gu Chainan? Did he really not ask for anything when he left?" one of her friends asked. Hearing my name, I couldn't help but stop and glance inside. Lu Ruyan's gaze flickered with a hint of gloom. Su Hao, sitting beside her, sighed and said, "Ruyan and I are very close, but Gu Chainan was always baselessly jealous, which constantly pressured her. Breaking up is for the best." Lu Ruyan looked tired and said nothing. "Exactly, breaking up is good. Gu Chainan's background is ordinary. If it weren't for Ruyan bringing him into the company, her father probably wouldn't have bothered with him," another person added. "He has no real talent. For the past 2 years, he's only relied on Ruyan. In my opinion, Ruyan wasted 7 years of her youth by his side. If they're breaking up, he should be the one paying compensation." Everyone burst out laughing, except for Lu Ruyan and Wen Ying. Wen Ying looked pensive, while Lu Ruyan silently drank glass after glass of wine, as Su Hao sat next to her looking slightly worried. Seeing that scene, my heart was completely at peace. I turned and walked away from their private room door. My new colleagues were incredibly enthusiastic. As a newly hired director, I thought I might be treated with indifference, but on the contrary, they truly welcomed me with sincerity. Finally, the department director has arrived. Thanks to you, I can finally catch a break, said Li Xiao, the man who had been temporarily managing the department before I arrived. He spoke with a look of relief, quite different from the cheering and teasing of the other colleagues. Every time we had a meeting, Mr. Li was so stressed. Director Gu is truly talented and stays calm through everything. We'll be counting on you from now on, another colleague said. Director Gu is someone the company invested a lot to recruit. Previously at Lu Technology, he was a giant in the technical field. Our Lin Technology will surely make a strong breakthrough thanks to you. Lin Technology and the company Lu Ruyan founded operated in the same field, but unlike Lu Technology, this place had strong capital and was developing extremely rapidly. Being praised by my colleagues, I was a bit surprised. The atmosphere of the team here was a world apart from Lu Technology. At Lu Technology, I was the co-founder and chief technology officer, CTO, but the power actually lay mostly in Lu Ruyan's hands. She was the one who decided everything. Since the early days of the startup, Lu Ruyan's and my management views were never the same. I wanted every product to take steady steps forward, while Lu Ruyan was different. She was under great pressure from her father, so she wanted to generate profit and attract investment as quickly as possible. Whatever product was hot on the market, she wanted to chase it. This caused us to argue more than a few times. But the real cause that brought our conflict to a climax was a project meeting 2 years ago. At that time, Lu Ruyan saw the explosion of the smart home market and demanded the company jump into this sector to grab market share. However, Lu Technology specialized in smart logistics. Investing too much money and time into a different industry would break the foundation we had built. As the head of the technical department, I firmly opposed it. But the HR department, the CEO's office, and finance all stood by Lu Ruyan, causing the project meeting to end abruptly. After that, we began to argue fiercely both at the office and in our private lives. The climax was the time she raised her voice in the office, slamming the table and berating me without any regard for my dignity in front of the employees. She even pointed at the door and told me to get lost. Gu Chainan. Don't think for a second that just because you manage the technical team, you can get tough with me. I am the one who provided the investment. I am the CEO. As long as I have money, I can hire thousands of CTOs better than you. If you weren't my boyfriend, how could someone like you ever sit in this position? Arguments between company leaders are a taboo, especially when she used advice from Wen Ying to pressure me through tactics from the HR and finance departments. Sometimes it was organizing unnecessary staff training, other times it was refusing to approve expense reports under the guise of saving costs. During that time, many people under my command left one by one, leaving the entire department in a state of heavy tension. New employees who joined gradually sided with Lu Ruyan. Occasionally, in the break room or the restroom, I would hear them whispering, "Actually, he has no power at all. He has many very reasonable proposals. It's just a pity the big boss won't listen." Being a partner with the big boss is truly not easy. In my opinion, Director Gu is very passionate, but I don't know how much longer he can endure it. Indeed, my passion did not last long under the pressure and leverage from Lu Ruyan. I began to doubt whether I truly deserved this position. As my authority was gradually usurped, I became nothing more than a shadow in the company, a marginal figure. Subsequently, Lu Ruyan began implementing new projects without any more opposition. The company also poured a large amount of money into researching smart home products. And when capital ran short, Su Hao became the savior returning to the country to invest. He became the largest investor in Lu Technology. Lu Ruyan felt as though she had been thrown a lifeline, overcoming financial difficulties thanks to him. From then on, her attitude toward me became even colder. It was also from that point that many headhunting companies came looking for me. But at that time, I didn't want to give up on Lu Ruyan, so I refused them all. I never expected that for the past 2 years, Lin Technology had persistently sent invitations. So, the moment I broke up with Lu Ruyan, I decided to accept the offer from Lin. And looking back now, it was perhaps a completely correct decision. Li Xiao raised his glass. Congratulations, Director Gu. From now on, we will follow you with all our hearts. He started it, and then each colleague took turns coming over to congratulate me, inviting me to drink glass after glass. When I couldn't take any more, I had to surrender and excuse myself, finding a reason to go to the restroom to wash my face and sober up. Just as I stepped out, I accidentally bumped into someone. "I'm sorry," I said politely and was about to walk away. But that person called my name, Director Gu. Turning around, I was surprised to realize the person standing in front of me was Wen-ing. She grabbed my jacket and then quickly let go, her face full of awkwardness. I looked at her with a mix of suspicion and annoyance. Perhaps my guardedness was too obvious. Wen-ing turned red and stammered to start a conversation. "Director Gu, long time no see. Are you here for a meal too? Have you seen Lu Ruyan yet?" I didn't want to waste words on her and didn't understand why someone who usually looked down on me like Wen-ing would take the initiative to talk. I gave a perfunctory nod and prepared to walk away, but she suddenly blocked my path. "You saw it too. Su Hao is by Lu Ruyan's side now," she said, as if trying to emphasize that fact. I cut her off. "It's exactly what you wanted. She and I have broken up. From now on, who she is with has nothing to do with me anymore." Wen-ing hesitated for a moment and then opened her mouth again, this time with eyes sparkling as if holding something back. "Mr. Gu, if you've already broken up with Lu Ruyan, then can I be with you?" I thought I must have had too much to drink and misheard. Otherwise, how could someone who always despised me like Wen-ing say such a confession? Seeing that I didn't answer, she stepped closer, the distance enough for me to smell a faint scent of alcohol. It turned out she was drunk. I took 2 steps back to avoid her. "You're drunk." I'll act as if I didn't hear anything. To my surprise, Wen-ing didn't let me go but immediately followed. "Mr. Gu, I'm not drunk. I truly want to be with you. Are you still lingering over Lu Ruyan? Let me tell you, she went to bed with Su Hao a long time ago. The young lady of the Lu family and the young master of the Su family are the ones who are a perfect match. As for you, you were just a passing romance from her naive days. Don't even dream of thinking you could marry her." I stopped in my tracks. Wan Ying's words felt ridiculous to me. Because of my ordinary background, according to her logic, should I be with someone ordinary like her? Just as I was about to retort, my arm was suddenly grabbed by someone. A gentle fragrance drifted by, and a firm voice rang out. "Young lady, you're right. A match of equal status is important. Unfortunately, you are just an ordinary person, and Gu Chainan is not the one for you." She paused for a moment, looking at Wen-ing with a cold gaze, and continued. "What a pity you're late. He is my fiancé now." I looked in surprise at the woman beside me. A young woman with short hair, wearing a custom-tailored business suit, meticulously applied makeup, and an aura full of authority. She signaled for me to remain silent and then looked at Wen-ing with piercing eyes. "So, young lady, what do you want with my fiancé?" The phrase fiancé made Wen-ying's face turn pale. Under that majestic gaze, Wen-ying's lips trembled but she couldn't say a word. Finally, she covered her face and ran away, looking as if she had just been dealt a painful blow. "Director Lin, I was truly disrespectful. This is nothing but asking for trouble. Surely Wen-ing will go back and tell Lu Ruyan about this," I said with some concern. Lin Jingxue, the CEO of Lin Technology, smiled, let go of my hand and winked. "Well, you really are my fiancé." Becoming Lin Jingxue's fiancé was actually a matter of necessity. When I went to Lin Technology for the interview, I discovered that the CEO was my high school classmate. The interview quickly turned into a conversation reminiscing about the old days. I was the top student in the science stream at school, and Lin Jingxue was second. She always said she would surpass me to take the number 1 spot, but she never managed to do so, not even in the university entrance exam. After many years apart, I had now left Lu Ruyan with empty hands, while she had become an outstanding businesswoman praised by the media as a role model for the modern era. There was a hint of self-deprecation in my eyes. Because of the time I spent being suppressed by Lu Ruyan, I had gradually lost confidence in my abilities. Meeting Lin Jingxue again, I even doubted whether she gave me this job out of old friendship. Unexpectedly, she looked at me seriously and said, "Gu Chainan, I am a business person. No one incompetent gets to sit in this important position. If I didn't trust in your abilities, I wouldn't have invited you for the past 2 years. The products you've created are enough to prove your capability." Hearing that, I was truly moved. While we were chatting happily, Lin Jingxue's father, the one backing her, suddenly burst into the office. He loudly urged her to go on a blind date, which deeply annoyed her. She immediately grabbed my hand, gave me a secret signal, and declared to her father that I was her boyfriend. Since then, I had reluctantly become Lin Jingxue's boyfriend, and it wasn't long before this status was upgraded to fiancé. We returned to the party together. The appearance of Lin Jingxue, the big boss of the company, made the atmosphere even more exciting. She was a leader with great charisma, serious in work but extremely sociable outside. Thanks to that, Lin Technology always maintained a busy but not stressful working atmosphere. The employees here were united, completely different from the fragmented state of Lu Technology in recent years. After eating and drinking our fill, we left the restaurant together. Unexpectedly, right at the door, I ran into Lu Ruyan and Su Hao again. Right at that moment, he was kneeling on one knee on the ground, holding a bouquet of bright red roses, looking at Lu Ruyan with deep affection. "Ruyan, I came back to the country only for you. For the past 2 years, I've seen you fighting alone in the business world, trying to stand firm and overcome all difficulties. I care for you deeply and want to be your support. Please be my girlfriend." Around Lu Ruyan, her friends immediately began to cheer, "Say yes. Say yes." Lu Ruyan's brows furrowed slightly, her expression showing a hint of bewilderment rather than joy. She scanned her surroundings and accidentally locked eyes with me. For a fleeting moment, a flash of surprise mixed with delight crossed her face, but that expression quickly hardened into arrogance. She stood still as if waiting for me to approach her. I merely withdrew my gaze with indifference and walked past her with my colleagues. Behind me, Lu Ruyan called out angrily, "Gu Chainan." When she saw that I didn't react, she suddenly left Su Hao's side and ran in front of me, shouting, "Gu Chainan, stop right there." I sighed and turned back to look at Lu Ruyan. Standing before me, she spoke in a tone full of reproach. "Where have you been vanishing to all this time? How long has it been without a single phone call? Do you have any idea how exhausted I've been, managing the company while worrying about you at the same time?" "Actually, I'm quite exhausted myself," I replied, without a trace of emotion. Lu Ruyan seemingly still thought that my moving out and breaking up were just temporary acts of throwing a tantrum. "Sure enough," she continued. "Fine, forget it. You've been stubborn like this for a while now. Surely your anger has cooled off by now? Come home. Next month I'll arrange some free time. We'll pick a date for our families to meet and discuss the marriage." I looked behind her and saw Su Hao slowly standing up with a look of extreme displeasure. Her friends were all staring at the two of us in shock, while Wening stood in the back with an ambiguous, unreadable gaze. "We have broken up," I answered firmly. Lu Ruyan frowned, lightly rubbing her temples. "Stop making a scene. My work is already piled up to the ceiling. You know full well why I started this business. If it weren't for our future, would I need to suffer this much? Gu Chainan, can't you show me a little understanding?" I cut her off. "You and Su Hao are a perfect match in status, and your father likes him too. Being with him, you won't have to endure so much anymore." She narrowed her eyes at me, her face confused as she tried to determine if I was truly serious. Once she was certain I wasn't joking, her expression turned to fury. "Gu Chainan, I am giving you one last chance to take back what you just said. Otherwise..." She turned her head to look at Su Hao and said through gritted teeth, "Otherwise, I really will be with Su Hao." "I wish you both 100 years of happiness," I replied coldly. Lu Ruyan's face instantly turned pale, yet she stubbornly bit her lip, looked toward Su Hao, and declared, "I agree to be your girlfriend." Su Hao seemed to have achieved what he wanted, but his eyes were far from happy. Perhaps he realized that Lu Ruyan's action was merely to spite me. Nevertheless, he stepped forward and put his arm around her shoulder, forcing a strained smile. Gu Chainan, thank you. I will take care of Ruyan. I hope you find your own happiness as well. Lu Ruyan intentionally leaned against Su Hao, looking back at me with a provocative gaze. Su Hao is much better than you. If we break up, then so be it. Without you, my life will only get better. As for you, if you leave me, you will be nothing. The moment she finished speaking, a cold voice rang out from behind me. Who said he is nothing? I turned around to see Lin Jingxue standing protectively in front of me with a frigid expression, her eyes fixed steadfastly on Lu Ruyan. You are the one who is unworthy of Gu Chenan's deep affection. The appearance of Lin Jingxue caused Lu Ruyan's smug smile to vanish completely. She asked in shock, Who are you? Lin Jingxue smiled and leaned gently against me. I am Gu Chenan's fiancé. It was as if a light bulb went off for Lu Ruyan, her eyes flaring with resentment. Gu Chainan. So the reason you broke up with me is that you found someone else? How dare you slander me and Su Hao then? Shut up. Lin Jingxue interrupted with a commanding tone. You have a lover, yet you go around flirting with other men? And who used Gu Chenan's hard work to gain a foothold in the market, only to kick him aside like he's useless afterward? Who made Gu Chainan believe he wasn't capable enough? Lin Jingxue's gaze swept across Lu Ruyan's group of friends, stopping at Wening before she gave a faint laugh. You suppressed Gu Chainan, ignored his talents, and even listened to your friends. Truly foolish. He was the one who walked beside you for 7 years, yet you let a few jealous people blind you. She took out her phone, opened a video, and tossed it toward Lu Ruyan. Look for yourself, see how your good friend has been sabotaging you. The audio played clearly, and when Ying's voice rang out, if you and Gu Chainan have broken up, can I be with him? Wan Ying froze instantly. Lu Ruyan stared at the screen, her face shifting from surprise to rage as she heard Wan Ying speaking ill of her in the video. As the video ended, Lu Ruyan turned to look at Wan Ying with a lethal glare. Wan Ying. You dare. Wan Ying closed her eyes as if ready to take a blow, but then she straightened her back and replied. That's right. I like Gu Chainan, so what? You two have already broken up. Lu Ruyan immediately lunged forward and slapped her hard across the face. You dare do this to me? Gu Chainan is my boyfriend. Wan Ying coldly retorted, but you two have broken up, why can't I confess to him? Lu Ruyan turned pale, her voice trembling. You provoked me against him. You said his power was too great and he had to be suppressed. You said he was just an ambitious man clinging to a woman's skirt to change his life. Wan Ying laughed mockingly. I did say those things, but who forced you to follow them? If you truly loved him, would you have been so easily incited by me? Wasn't that exactly what you were thinking in your heart anyway? Lu Ruyan was speechless with rage. She raised her hand to slap her again, but Su Hao quickly stopped her. Ruyan, calm down. How can I be calm? I treated her with such sincerity, and yet she stabbed me in the back. Lu Ruyan screamed. I had no more patience to witness this scene of sisterly infighting, so I took Lin Jingxue's hand and left. My colleagues also quietly distanced themselves from the chaotic scene. After walking a short distance, I suddenly turned to ask Lin Jingxue, how did you know about me being suppressed at Lu Technology? The conflicts between me and Su Hao, how did you know all of that so clearly? Lin Jingxue, who was always so straightforward, now appeared a bit shy. After a moment of silence, she murmured in confusion. You've already guessed it anyway, why make me say it out loud? Seeing her embarrassment, I burst into laughter. When she stood up to protect me and recounted every grievance I had endured, I had already deduced the reason. I walked faster to catch up with her and called out, Wait for me, my fiancé. Lin Jingxue blushed and hurried ahead. On the way back, I wore the most natural smile I had felt in years. That evening, after seeing Lin Jingxue home, I returned to my rented apartment. Standing at the gate, I was surprised to find Lu Ruyan and Su Hao waiting. Lu Ruyan's face was stained with tears, while Su Hao stood to the side with a look of dissatisfaction and exhaustion. Seeing me, Su Hao spoke up. Gu Chainan, Lu Ruyan insisted on finding you. She belongs to you, I'm giving her back. I admit defeat this time. I felt a sudden urge to laugh. Were the two of them performing a romantic tragedy in front of me? I sighed in weariness, pulled Su Hao closer, and said through gritted teeth, "Take her away immediately, and stop bothering me." Lu Ruyan looked up, her eyes brimming with tears. "Gu Chainan, it's all my fault. I was deceived by Wening. She was the one who drove us apart. Please don't break up, okay? I'm sorry. I'll compensate you with shares in Lu Technology. You'll still be the CTO, the co-founder. Just please don't be with someone else, okay?" "I can't," I replied coldly. "Lu Ruyan, don't blame others. What happened between us wasn't because of Wening or anyone else. You didn't truly love me anymore, and neither did I." She bit her lip, tears welling up, but she couldn't say another word. Throughout the past 2 years of being pushed away from power, I had thought long and hard. Finally, I had to accept the truth that Lu Ruyan's love for me had faded. It was the so-called 7-year itch, when a once-burning love gradually vanishes before a harsh reality. You're just not used to the fact that I'm no longer by your side. Let everything pass in peace, I said. You and Su Hao are actually a great match. Your father likes him, and being with him means you won't have to face so much pressure. Lu Ruyan shook her head in despair. "Gu Chainan, can you really not come back? Don't you feel any regret at all?" "No. I have found a new direction now, and I have someone by my side that I truly want to be with." She tried to hold on, but I felt nothing now but indifference. The promises, the tears of regret, none of it affected me anymore. Finally, I turned my back and walked away, leaving Lu Ruyan standing there in despair. Su Hao stood silently, watching me fade into the distance. After that time, I heard no more news of Lu Ruyan. My life with Lin Jingxue gradually stabilized. Lin Technology grew rapidly, and my capabilities were utilized to their fullest. Lin Jingxue and I drew closer, moving from colleagues to life partners. 3 years later, we got married. While attending a business forum, I happened to run into Lu Ruyan again. She had changed a lot. She no longer had the powerful aura of a businesswoman, but had become thin and haggard. During the evening party, I saw her sitting quietly alone in a corner. Su Hao stood nearby chatting cheerfully with others, while Lu Ruyan only listened passively, her social smile failing to hide her weariness. According to friends in the industry, Lu Ruyan had lost control of her company. Focusing on the smart home market without thorough preparation had led Lu Technology into financial distress, eventually forcing a merger with Su Hao's company to avoid bankruptcy. After learning of her successive failures, her father left the majority of his estate to his illegitimate son. When he passed away, Lu Ruyan only received a small portion, making her entirely dependent on Su Hao. By this point, her relationship with Su Hao had also become fragile. Su Hao no longer paid attention to her, and rumors of him having other women circulated everywhere. Lin Jingxue, my wife, noticed me observing Lu Ruyan from afar and whispered gently in my ear, "She isn't like she used to be. Let's leave the past behind us." I smiled and nodded. Yes, it was all in the past. Now, I had a happy life by Lin Jingxue's side. The past was merely a lesson reminding me of my own growth.